marketing package to increase your reach beyond traditional media. Email underwriting at wruu.org.
And welcome back. Again, this is WRULP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5. We are Savannah Sound Radio, community radio with the Global Soul. Listen, we are talking about Men on the Block. We are talking about how does age affect men. This is, again, I kind of should have known how we was going to attack this, man, and because this is really, really, like I said, really a profound topic right here. Because, like I said, when you're talking about establishing a family at a certain age, but also creating a family to where, or not just a family, even yourself as a man, it's not one moment that defines a man, but it's about sustainability of being a man. And that's why I think, this age thing kind of can play a part in all of that. There was something else, Kevin shared a portion of this topic with me as well. And something that he wrote said this, and I thought this was really good too. It says, the young man dreams dreams, the older man has nightmares. I thought that was, I said, oh my gosh. And then it goes on to say, older men are seen as weak, and younger men are seen as not financially capable.
Wow.
And stuff. Those are two things that really jumped out at me. And there was a lot more to it, but those are two things that really jumped out at me. Of course, biblically, there's a text where it talks about how the young men have visions, and then it talks about the wisdom of older men. To hear this quote like this, about the older man being weak. Now, again, we had a conversation. Where were we at? It was a couple of us talking about, at Bible study, we were talking about this, and we were talking about dreaming dreams, men dreaming dreams, and it's talking about now there's almost like a stigma when it comes to us as men. Now we're kind of passive, and in this particular Bible study, we were talking to young men, and the young men were talking about the evidence that's out there, or how it's like it's evidentiary, where nowadays young men are feeling like as if they're kind of pushed to the side. They lack significance to such a degree that you'll even hear women say, I don't need a man. Now, part of that I get, but I would love to, and I should have had a woman on just for this part of this segment of this program, because I would like to have a better definition of when a woman says that I don't need a man. Now, again, if you're saying that you don't need a man as far as like to advance or to excel, or for you to finish your college, or for you to start your own business, or for you to progress in the corporate world, or whatever, entrepreneurship, whatever you decide to do, I get that part. And I think that's a woman saying about her independence in that regard. And again, it's not about a woman feeling like, well, I need a man to survive. I don't think you need that either. In the same token, I don't think men need a woman for survivability in the sense of, I'm not going to make it in this world unless I have a woman. I don't think that's the case either. I think there's a compatibility thing that comes into play when it comes to that stuff. You know what I mean? There's a compatibility, there's a relatability, and all that comes into play with those things. So individually, I get it when it's okay. I don't need a man to do whatever. And a man says, I don't need a woman to do whatever. However, I do think that we both serve a purpose for one another. And I think there are certain needs that we do provide to and for one another, and beyond even sexually or with eroticism. I think that there are certain things we fulfill in that as well. So I said all that. I guess to really get to this point too is that does age really, I get it when we talk about how does age affect a man, but when it comes to how we view relationships as well, does that change as well too? And I'm sorry, I want to press rewind real quick too, D, because when you were talking, you said something earlier about when we're talking about 20, 30, and 40 when it comes to the marriage and everything like that. So describe, wow man, see, I'm not trying to set you up because I'm really curious about this. So describe to me then, at 40, let's say, because you waited till you were 38, 39,
Mm-hmm.
you got married. How was your conversation different with your wife then versus how you think it would have been? Two sides. How was it different at 38, 39 versus how you think it would have been with her at 28 or 29? And then how is it going to be different when you're 49 or 50? You see what I'm saying?
Right. I
So
got
cover
you.
those two
Okay.
windows. You know?
Go. So let's you. Which one do you want me to go first?
The younger one first.
The young one. Okay. My conversation would have been more like very. It would have been immature. The conversation. And I'm just gonna be honest. It would have been immature. Hey, you know, how you doing? What's going on? You know, I wouldn't have wanted to go deep and intimate with her.
Right.
Mentally, and not trying to be funny, I wouldn't have cared. You know, I'm not trying to go deep and intimate with
That's
you.
good.
You know, it's
That's
just,
good.
you know, we're just, I just wasn't there.
Right.
Now, as I got older, I'm trying to lock into your more intimate emotional side. I'm trying to figure out what in life really makes you tick. You know, I'm trying to figure out your background because I need to understand your background to understand how to provide and take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
Before I wouldn't have cared about that.
Okay.
I mean, you know, I would have been like, you know, you start crying, hey, you just need to get over that. You know, it's, you know, figure out a way to get over it, build a bridge, get over it, get under it, whatever you got to do, get around it. I don't care. You know, but now it's more, well, okay, well, how do I help you deal with this?
Right.
And then I'll, you know, when people say they introduce you, when a woman takes you and introduce you to their family, do you at 25? I'm just so happy to meet your family. At 38, 39, 40, I'm looking at your family to kind of understand what makes you tick.
What makes you that way?
Yeah,
That's
understand
wisdom.
how
Yeah,
you
that's
grow
smart.
up.
Yeah.
So now I can understand you a little bit better, and I can deal with you.
Great point.
You
Man,
know,
no, that's good. Yeah.
you know, and that's just what.
So
I
how's
am.
that going to change when you get 49 or 50?
Well, 49, 50, you know, if y'all have grown together, you have to understand, you still, the woman I married at 38, she's a different woman now. Now her body's going through changes, and now I understand as I mature that I'm gonna be there for her, and I'm gonna be there with her. I don't think and this is, and all this is, and just be frankly, all this is new to me, because I really, men have in the family have been there with their wives, but I haven't really seen them display this.
Right.
You know, so now I'm doing a lot of reading and a lot of pulling to try to figure out what I need to do to be there for my wife. And I shared the thing with psychology, and then I read a book, 52 Things a Wife Need from a Husband.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah,
I'm
that's
trying to figure these things out. You know,
See,
as I go along.
And see, that's the question I would have when you said that, man. It just made me think, though. So, do you have to? How do you learn if you've never experienced it? Now, this is rhetorical.
Mm-hmm.
If you've never experienced it coming up, you never really witnessed it or saw it displayed, as you said, you know, the thing would be, how would you learn it? So, I say that to say again, I don't think you learn it by mistake. And so let's say you come from a home where, you know, you haven't witnessed it, and you haven't seen it displayed on display very much at all. You haven't seen that, you know, you've seen it on television probably, but you haven't really seen it displayed. Even on television now, it's kind of sketchy and shaky now. But
it is. It really is.
Yeah. So, but again, I just think you have to be intentional in learning how. I think you have to want to. I don't think a young man out there who's never seen it displayed is going to be like how you just described it, saying, you know, they're going to pick up the book. Well, I'm just going to read. I think it has to be something. You said it earlier, it has to be something within.
Yeah.
To say, you know what, I really want to do this the right way. There's a concern or a passion or care I have when it comes to my spouse. So I want to learn. I think it has to be intentional. I just don't think you can learn it by happenstance, you know.
You can. You really can. And you really going to have to be spiritually grounded.
Yeah.
You're really going to have to,
especially nowadays.
Yeah, you're going to have to be spiritually grounded. You're going to have to to be around men that can help ground you, that you can talk to, that you can say, hey, look, dude, I'm kind of struggling with this part of my marriage, and and kind of help you figure things out.
Yeah.
Because man, most of us guys, we don't want to read.
Yeah.
We don't want to read.
Yeah.
We don't want to understand.
I want to say this real quick because one of the things I have written down, one of the things I write quotes all the
Right.
time, and the guy said this, Michael R. Dyson made this comment. He says, "You can't heal what you don't reveal." I thought it was really good. In order for something to be healed, so if you don't know how, if you haven't experienced it, haven't seen displayed, you don't know how to be, that caring or that complete man at 39 or 49 or 69 years old, doesn't even matter the age. If you don't know how, that's, you need to be healed, quote unquote, in some type of way. So it has to be revealed. That say, I don't know how to do this, because I think that our actions or the response to our actions is going to tell us if we're good or not.
Right.
If you're sitting around with your spouse or your kids, and that's something else I want to hit on before we go. If our spouse or our kids are sitting around with their lips poked out, tight-lipped, arms folded, like looking at you crazy, well, there's something you're not doing right. You know what I mean? So that's that should be something to tell you. So wait a minute, I might need to flip this. I need to learn how to do this. So again, it can't be. You just said it. I think it starts. One of the starting points can be, of course, recognizing the fact that I don't know what I'm doing, but then the next steps, not to say it definitely has to be this. I think it's a good next step to tell somebody, say, hey, look here, bro, I don't know how to do this, man. My wife is angry. The kids are looking out at me like cross-eyed or whatever, So how do I fix this? I think that has to be somewhere where it has to say, how do I do this?
Well, and one thing we have to do, we have to be a student of our marriage. We have to study our marriage. We have to figure out what's going on. And it's gonna sound crazy. It's kind of like medicine, because you're always studying medicine because it's always ever changing.
Right.
And when you got a family, it's always gonna be ever changing. So you're gonna have to figure out what's going on with them, because especially and I'm starting to read this book right now, and because my son, he's 10, and he's kind of starting to get into an age where me and him kind of start having conversations. And in the first chapter of this book, I'm starting to read to say you got to be a student of your son.
Oh wow.
You got to study him. You got to figure out everything about him. His moves.
Oh yeah. Listen, you listen to WRULP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5. We are Savannah Sounds Community Radio with the Global Soul. You're listening to Men on the Block again. We're talking to me and Donald. We're talking about how does age affect men, and we're talking about how does it affect men in different areas. So you just open up something talking about the son. This is what probably try to get through this segment because I do want to hit that on about does our age affect how we see our children? Does our and I think it's twofold. So before you respond to it, I think it's twofold. I think that our age affects how we see us raising our children. It also, our age also too affects how we see our children respond to what we've believed, and I'll say it this way: what we believe that we taught them. So I think age, I think is I would say double because it's probably more than that. So I just say multiple. I think it's multiple dynamics when it comes to us as men, our age, and how we view our children. And you just said before, you just made the comment saying about reading a book, saying about study your child. What does that mean? Study your child.
It means have an interaction with him to where you could be there with him and you could help him grow and understand where he's where he's going to be, and he can respect you and understand that you're not coming from a place of criticism, but a place of trying to help him get to where he needs to be. And I liken this to my son plays baseball, so I use baseball and life as an analogy, and I try to tell him, You know, when I put him on a baseball field, I say, and when I'm trying to get him to do something, and I use this as an analogy. They've been pitching for a year now, so the coach is starting to get him into pitching. So he had a leg kick, but the leg kick was messing him up. It was making the ball not hit his target. So I kind of watched him. I looked at him, and I took him out the other day, and I said, well, hey, well, let's take the leg kick out. I said, don't kick that leg that high. I said, let's try something a little bit different. So when he tried it, he started hitting his spot. He said, oh, I got it now. So by me studying him and understanding him, I said, this is throwing you off. So if you understand your son, your daughter, your wife, if you see them and you see, okay, this is throwing you off, they know you coming from a place that's trying to help them, and they're more apt to try to understand what you're saying instead of oh why are you doing the leg kick? Man, put your leg there.
Yeah,
You know,
I get it.
So you know you're not beating them down.
Yeah. So, but this is the question I had then. So you said you study them. What do you? How do you know what to study? How do you know, what you're looking for to say, okay, that's off, or that's on, or that's there's a twitch in that delivery. I mean, how are you able? How do you know what to look for?
Well, it's easy for me with baseball because with baseball I videotape my son, and me and him we'll go back and watch it. In life, you're not gonna videotape everything,
right.
But you gotta kind of know, that's your spot, that's you, and I don't care how you try to deviate it, that's you, and you're gonna know at certain ages. Okay, I was doing this, and you know where it kind of led you. Hey, son, don't make that mistake, and can we talk about this? And if you're honest with them. We gotta be honest. Hey, look, I made that mistake. Don't do that. I made that mistake dating these type of girls. Don't make that mistake. Don't do that. And I had a great teacher, and it was by accident because my grandfather, and by all accounts, he was not a good man to my mom, and her siblings. And they told me the story where how he ran around with women and he just wasn't there for them. But they say for some reason when they started having children and I was his first grandson, something changed in him. So he was like, okay, I got to be there. And he was there. And he kind of started showing me exactly what it took to be a man because my natural father died when I was 6 months old, so I didn't have that connection. So he kind of took me under his wing, but then he was murdered at 52, so now I had a gap in there. So, but there was a crucial time in there that he taught me, and with that age, it's like he started at 50 something. He started getting it like, hey, I got to teach him something. And I got to leave him something.
See, and I think that's the key, though, man. Is that even if it was a small window that you had, I think that's what's vital. Is that there has to be some type of window, some type of space where a kid has to know, and it might not be at a young age. It could be even later on, where you kind of get taught or learn how. Okay, this is how children. This is how it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? This is the right way. Now, again, everybody's right can be off a little bit. Don't get me wrong, but to a degree, right is right. We know there's a right and a wrong. I'm sorry, moralistically, ethically, we know there's a right and wrong and stuff. And so I think that's a key, though, that having been exposed, living and or seeing what right looks like at one time or another is vital to a young man being able to raise his children up in a good way. So I said to say too, though. So what changes as? So let's move up a little bit. Let's say now, okay, the kid is not 10 anymore. Now he's 20. He's 20, and let's say you're 40.
All right.
Now, at age 40, does that affect how you see your children? How at 40, does it affect how you see your 20-year-old? Does that change?
Yeah.
How so?
Well, at 40, you gotta start understanding that you're more, you're still a parent, but you're going more from parental to guiding. So now it's more you got to understand that now you're in the guiding role. You're in the role that where you're gonna say, hey, look, you know, you might not need to make this decision. You might not need to make that decision, and hopefully everything that you've instilled in them to that point will kick in. Now, I'm not saying that they're not gonna make bad decisions, but you got to understand your role. You got to understand that you're not that person that's handing out the punishment, taking the cell phones and all that good stuff. So now you got to be like, okay, look, I'm on that advisory role. I'm gonna advise you not to do this.
Okay.
You know, so if you do this, you know, there might be consequences. Don't buy that credit card. Don't go charge this. You know, so you're more in an advisory role at that point because they're growing into their person, and you want to advise them the right things to do.
Yeah. Trust me, I get that advising. I guess it gets hard too though when they want to be stubborn or knucklehead and stuff. But let me ask you this. So tie that in with, tie how you view your kids at your age 40 and they're 20. So how you view them, where's your, and lack of a better word, where's your mentality at? Where's your maturity level at 20? Let me just say, I was trying to get around something, but I'm just going to say it. Nowadays, we have so many of us who have our children at a young age. I mean, I didn't necessarily, I guess, I don't know if it's young for me, 25. You know, I was young when we had our son. I was at 25 years old. 25? No, I'm lying. 22. 22 or 23. Because our birthdays are like right there. So anyway, let me make sure. 22. Okay, because our birthdays are like a week apart or whatever, so I got confused for a second. So when he was born. So many of us are having our kids young, so I was fairly young. I'm still in college at the time when my son was born, so I know where my mind wasn't at that time. I was, oh my gosh, it was exciting to get the news and all that stuff, but there was also kind of a fear factor. I came in like, oh my gosh, I got to try to be a dad. Right. This is going to be tough, right? So made a lot of mistakes along the journey too. Please, made a whole bunch of mistakes. But I say this to bring up this point, and that is, I wonder if many of our people nowadays, many people nowadays, they have children at a young age, and so now they have to take on that responsibility of being a dad or being a father at a young age, and so now they miss certain things. So now the kid is 15 or 16, right? You're still in your early 30s, basically, and you're wanting to live. So I guess the question I would have in that regard is if you're in that position, how do you see your kids? How is that affecting you? How you view your children? How you view you raising children? In the same token, how do we reach? Because again, there's so many flaws in that. So how do you reach a person who's in that place? You know, how do you get to them and say, hey, hold up, bro. I get it. You had them young. It was tough. I know you're 34, 35. You want to kind of live this life like it's golden. I get it. But how do you get through to that? How do you deal with that dynamic then? You get what I'm saying?
Wow. I mean, I've never dealt with that one, and it would be tough. I mean, you're 35. Your child is 18, 19. Now they're having children, and so now you want to reach them, but I mean, that one I really don't know how to respond to. I mean, that's why I keep saying 30 years old. I mean, because and I'm kind of thinking at 20, 21, I was in the military in Germany, footloose, fancy free. I'm straight. So I didn't have that care and worry. So, and at 30. Wow.
See, that's what I'm saying. I think, I've been around and I've experienced, witnessed two teenagers, who've had children, and they're not even juniors in high school, and stuff. It's so I say that because now their parents this is now a parent involved. You're a grandparent at 34, 35 years old now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, you haven't even learned completely, or you have your own battles, your own struggles of raising a child who is 15, and now you're a grandmother or grandfather. And notice I keep saying grandmother, because dynamics is that the man is not often there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it sucks that is that way, but that's the reality of it, and that's the reality we got to fix. Because I think if that reality was fixed, and I didn't mean to run from what I was about to say, but if that reality is fixed, I think that can help lower those numbers from those teenage girls who are having babies. I think that if the father, we as men, when we are in the rightful place, and that's why I say, let's deal with that dynamic of a young man at 21 and 22. Now he's made the mistake, quote unquote, and I say mistake, lack of a better word, not trying to say your child was a mistake if you had a child.
Right.
I just said I had one, and he's a great
Right.
kid and stuff, and so not to say that that's a mistake or whatever.
No, you're saying the mistake
But
of having
it just
sex.
yeah.
Right.
And so I think that we have to get into a place too where that young man who's made that mistake say, hey, this is not the end. You don't have to
It's the
cut and
beginning.
run. And I think that that's when we have to provide as much support as we can to that young man or to that young woman. Again, I think sometimes you take the thought of, well, you trying to be a man or you trying to be a woman at 15, 16 years old, well, you going to raise that baby yourself. No, I don't think that's it. Seriously, I think we have to provide them. I think we got to provide them the support that they need in order for them to continue to be successful. Real quick.
Yeah, and I agree with that point. Go ahead.
Yeah. So listen, guys, this is Men on the Block, WRU. I know WRUU, LP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5, Savannah Sounds Community Radio with the Global Soul. Again, great subject tonight. He just looked at his time too. I was like, dude, that went by quick and stuff, man. So really good subject, really talking. How does your age affect you as a man? In so many different areas of your life. Listen up, fam. We just appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Again, continue to hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, wherever. I keep on saying I'm gonna start a Snapchat. I got one, I just don't use it. I need to start figuring out how to use that thing and stuff. But continue to provide us some feedback. We're growing in this. We're developing stuff, and I don't know about D, but I'm learning so much through this program and stuff. These guys are really teaching me and stuff. So again, it's been a block. We look forward to hearing from you guys next week. Again, y'all take care. Peace and love. Love you. This thing. There it is. Okay. Because
Wow, we covered a lot. We covered ground, but I think we left a lot of meat on the bone.
oh my
though.
gosh, so much, man. We didn't even. I looked at the time, it was going by so fast,
I was
man.
like,
Seriously, I was like, dude, man, we're not
man,
even.
you said hurry up, and I was like, oh, he got to do the. I'm like,
I'm telling you that, man, that was. Dude, that was really good just there, man. That was a good one, man. Dang, go. What's his name gave me the topic, man? Kevin. Kevin sent it to me. So this is what I want to start trying to do. I really want to start